Today, I know you're all still over on listening over on Marsupial. I mean, the Vomitorium. Okay. Why is it not good? Okay, it's up there. Good. Let's see. Let's share this out on the Twitters. On the Twitters, because the Twitters is for the tweets. I guess I'm a twit because I'm over on Twitter as well. Let's see. Cross Comics After Dark. Did I change this? Let me make sure I changed this before I type in. No, I did not. Haha! It was not smart. But now I am. So, put that in there. We've put it there. We'll open up all our other things and place the links there. Not that anybody actually comes over from these places, but you know, maybe one day. One day over your rainbow, where the deer and the antelope don't roam. Okay, so I've posted the link everywhere. Okay, let's see. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, we need to make a thing so people can come in, right? So we will get the joining info. And we will go give the joining info out to where it needs to be given out. Okay, so we've got all that done. Okay, so let's change canvas size here. Should we keep enough room to do his boots? No, we're gonna cut that off. Bring this down. And we'll say okay. Opacity. Convert from opacity. And of course we need to bring up an image, so we have so we can get the colors for the character. So here we go. So we'll just have to go back and forth. Right now we'll get purple because it is the main color. And then of course we need to just get this. Well, let's see if this show will be as awkward as Marsupial. Who knows? Depends on whether anybody comes in. Well, and by come, we have our first guest. And our first guest is the one, the only, the dynamic Dillard.
Hey, what's going on? Rick Piper, Rick Charles John Piper?
Not much, just starting to color the image that I created last night with traditional draft, which is my character King. And how are you doing since I heard you talking about 5 minutes ago over in the Vomitorium?
I'm doing great.
And
are you sure that's on the right layer?
It is not on the right layer because I forgot to create other layers.
Oh, there's only one layer.
But I noticed something went wrong, so... Oh, hey, Model! Long time no see. We have Model 316 in the chat.
Oh, look at that. Model 316. This guy got a dunk on him. Look at those hips.
Yeah, I think I did not do that as good as I wanted.
No, you just should have made the other one just as big.
Yeah.
There are men in this world that actually, have large butts, Rick.
Yeah. I was watching Walker, Texas Ranger, earlier. There's this guy in episode 2, season 3, named Calvin Lane. He is 7'6". Now, he'd be perfect almost to play the Canadian Shield. There's only one problem. He looks.
What's the problem?
He unfortunately does not look anywhere close to Native American, and you probably couldn't even do it with makeup because he's black. But it was neat seeing Walker go up against this 7'6" guy. Edward Joshua says, "Hey homies." Rabbi says, "Volatarium ended interestingly." Just the way Rick likes him, says Timothy. I'm not sure what that means. Racist? No, that's not racist. The Canadian Shield is Native American, so.
Well, are you saying only a Native American can play a Native American?
Not necessarily.
Because Lou Diamond Phillips was the best Native American ever, and he was Filipino.
But,
he also played the coolest Mexican ever, yet he was Filipino.
Well, the problem is somehow they need to reduce the buildup of color in the guy's skin. I think that's art. It's easier
what are you talking about?
Add color to skin.
Oh, calm down, Rick. You're so racist. You're letting it show.
Preach Dillard says,
That's Timothy Olsen, Rick.
Yeah. Race isn't essential to the character. The shield can be anyone underneath. Be anyone.
Rebellious Pastry said the Vomitorium ended interestingly. Marsupial almost got himself in trouble. Marsupial was trying to simp for Rebellious Pastry, even though Rebellious Pastry is underage.
Oh. But yeah, anyone could wear the mask, but in this case, it is a Native American wearing the mask. Joshua.
What?
Oh, Joshua said race isn't essential to the character. The shield could be anyone. Anyone could wear the mask. Yes, but then it would be a different Canadian shield.
No. The person wearing the mask needs to be Man Like Cougar. But the person portraying Man Like Cougar doesn't necessarily have to be a Native American.
Yeah, as long as they can make the person look Native American or could pass as Native American.
Timothy Olsen says Johnny Depp played a Native American. As a matter of fact, there's so much CGI. It could be anybody. It could be that guy that played Golem. He could play a Native American.
Yeah, if you did it CGI, at that point, yeah.
You know, you could get. You know who looks like a Native American? Oh, what's that guy's name? Oh, I forget his name. Let me go find him real quick.
Hurricane Hodder, who played Jason. Yeah, but he played Tonto in The Lone Ranger, and well, not really his best role. Johnny Depp. I don't like what they. Well, I can't blame him. I could have blamed the writers. He just seemed like it was an Indian, supposed to be an Indian version of the character he played from what's the name of it? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sounds like a pretty hot take, Rick. It sounds like you came up with that all by yourself.
Yeah, I did actually. Timothy saying he got some award from an actual tribe.
All right, there we go. Delroy Lindo. That's your black man that can play your Native American character. Delroy Lindo.
You got a picture here, John?
I can share a picture right now. Yeah. Give me a second here. Let me go back to where you are. All right, let me present now my entire screen. And there we go. Here we are.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Even if you took the mustache off, to me, it just doesn't fit. But then again, like you said, do we green screen it or whatever bodysuit?
No. Just a little bit of makeup. That's all.
I'd say a lot of makeup.
Yeah, but you don't draw him looking Native American. What are you talking about?
What do you mean I don't draw him looking Native American?
No, he has the same features that every other character you have.
I wouldn't say all my characters have the same features.
Well, I mean, the only way you could tell he's Native American is because he's all hopped up on firewater.
But what?
All right, obviously you lack vision, Rick. So I'm gonna stop sharing. It's too bad John Witherspoon's dead. He could have played a fantastic Native American.
Kate, my mom says Jay Silverheels played Tonto in the TV series. But what if he was the best actor for the job? But being the fact that he doesn't fit the look means he's not the best actor for the job, Joshua.
Yes, not necessarily so. You can be the perfect look, but you can act like Lou Ferrigno.
Well, again, then that means still he's not the perfect actor for the job. Or the best actor for the job.
So the best actor would probably be the best actor.
No, the best actor for a particular role has to fit the criteria for the role. Whatever that criteria might be. It's obviously different for every character.
What about John Amos?
I recognize that name.
He's the dad from Good Times.
I think that would be you'd be a little old at this point.
He's going to be wearing a mask the majority of the movie.
Yeah, well, he'd still be probably. Is he even alive?
Rick, I don't have all the answers for you, all right? Why don't you give me some Native American actors that you want for the role?
I don't know offhand.
I know, you don't care.
Yes,
You
I
don't
did.
care enough to even research until right now.
I think you mean John Stamos says Model 316.
No, John Stamos looks way, way more black than John Amos. All right, I'm going to show you a picture of John Amos here. Hold on a second.
Just go to Rick. Just go to the reservation, picks one guy and tells him to play dumb. Yeah, but the Shield is not dumb, Timothy.
Well,
He's without knowledge. That doesn't make somebody dumb.
all right, here we go. I'm sharing right now.
Okay, let's see.
You ready for it? Here he is. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I knew who he was. Is he still alive? No?
Yeah, he's still alive. He was just in the remake of Coming to America with Eddie Murphy.
Oh. Was he the
Remember,
wrestler?
he played the owner of the that fake McDonald's business.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it was called, McArnold's, something like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
And you just give him a little bit of de-aging, it worked just fine.
Yeah, I don't think so. Rick, tell us the perfect actor for everything. I don't know the perfect actor for everything. I don't know all the actors out there. Mallet saying Wesley Snipes. He is not smart.
All right, give me an actor, Rick. Give me an actor that you would want for the Canadian Shield. Let me look at him real quick, and I'll tell you whether or not you're on the right track.
I did say one a while back. He was in, I forget what the movie was.
And what has he been in that's like a stellar acting job? Because I guarantee you, if he was still alive. Oh God! Philip Seymour Hoffman would make the best man like cougar you ever saw.
Okay, give me like 2 minutes. I think I have the movie here. I might be able to find what it is, the name of the guy.
All right, I'll stop sharing then. Oh my God, Danny Trejo! Imagine like a 9-foot tall Danny Trejo. Yeah, Timothy, that pretty much is exactly how the Canadian Shield talks.
I'm back. No, he's not Mallet. Fearless. Jet Li's Fearless. He was in. No, it's
Yeah, Model 316 says McDowell's. That's the name of the guy's restaurant. Okay, Jet Li's Fearless.
yeah. I just gotta look up the movie, and then hopefully I can see the various actors involved, and hopefully.
So you're talking about Jean-Claude Leyeux?
No, not Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, I said Leyeux.
Nathan Jones.
Nathan Jones. Rick, that guy doesn't look anywhere near Native American.
Yeah, well, you could do
that beady-eyed fool is as white and red hair and Irish as you can get.
Yeah, well, he has the build. You can do stuff with makeup.
Jesus Christ. Goodbye.
Well, I've had friends who are Native American, and they've got mistaken for Asian people, Mallet. Are you here, John, or did you actually leave? He actually left. I'm pretty sure this is the right guy anyways. Although, you know, he might be too old to play the role now, too. Because he's like 53. He was originally from Sydney, Australia. And he was 6'11", so, you know, basically a foot and an inch off from the actual height. Show us a picture of the guy? Okay, give me a sec. Browser. There is a picture anyways. I think that's a white guy painted up to look native. That is, well, obviously I'm not necessarily, you know, I saw this guy a while back. I'm sure there's, and I thought his build and all that would go good. Because, you know, there's a lot of criteria to meet for the Canadian Shield. I have to, obviously, narrow down what can be done and what can't be done. I thought he was supposed to look like the Hulk. Well, do you know of anybody that's actually built like the Hulk? And that is, well, might as well pick a no name. So it wouldn't be CGI anyways. See, that's a lot of stuff that would be up for thing. You know, at this point, you know, like, okay, yeah, criteria, you know, we know the Canadian Shield is like 8 foot tall. The chances of finding an 8 foot tall actor are extremely slim. I'm not we know the Canadian Shield is Native American. So, hey, we got a 7 foot tall person. That's close. You can't say they don't exist. We don't know everybody that's on Earth. So there might be someone somewhere, but the chances of them being built like a brick house. You know, there's another thing we know about him. He's, you know, very buff, so finding someone that's, you can probably find somebody super buff, but they're probably not necessarily going to be the right height. So you have to begin to figure out which of these in movie magic can you make up for. Let's see, this person John suggested. Yeah, he looks like a good person too, John. Rick, you should look up the strongest man guys. Like guys who played the Mountain in Game of Thrones. Yeah, it's definitely an idea. Let's see, what do we know about? I'm asked, stuff about this guy's 6'9". So again, somewhat close. He's 32, so again, that's probably better with age right now. Timothy, he's not dumb. When he gets integrated into society, you got to remember the Canadian Shield hasn't been in a lot. He knows English a little bit from where he's from, but he hasn't used it a lot. As he gets integrated and it's part of his daily life, he'll be talking as well as you or me. Here, I'll show everybody this guy too. Let's see. How does he read the Bible? He's got a lot of it memorized as he's been told it. And reading is different than speaking too. This is Dillard. He's probably learned to read some English. Okay, the average person, John. And I'm not sure. There's the thing. I'm not quite sure whether maybe he's been taught English, maybe he hasn't. Hey, Metal. You got your image up of Kentucky Fried Chocobo.
Never took it down.
Oh, we were just talking about
Hafthor Bjornsson.
Yeah. Well, I suggested Nathan James at first, but this guy is good too. I don't know a lot of actors that have the right build or people that have the right build. So I just going by name that somebody that I had seen before that had somewhat
right build. The Mountain from Game of Thrones. He's like 6'9".
Yeah. And
it was actually the guy I referenced when I was telling you that the Canadian Shield has to be at least this heavy because this 6'9" muscle man or strong man is this heavy, so there's no way he could be less than that.
Well, Although he is writing in English in the thing, so he knows a little bit about writing English. He's writing in the snow English for "The Lord is my shepherd." You might know certain passages how to write them.
Well, there's more than one mountain too, Timothy. He was replaced at a certain point. There's like 3 different people play that character.
Yeah, because you never see his face, right? Or am I thinking the different guy?
No, you did early on, but then that character died,
Yeah.
and he came back to life as like a monster.
Well, missionary could have taught him a little bit. That's possible, Eagle.
Oh, hey,
but,
is that Model 316 in the chat? I
Yeah,
haven't seen him in a while.
yeah. Be nicer to her, please. Oh, laggy still. I don't know why it's laggy. You're Rick. You can decide his story. Yeah, I know. And things like this, I will decide at some point. I just know he is going to get better with his English. Yes, it's broken at first, but as he integrates more into society, he didn't have to integrate into society back then, like everybody else.
Well, you know, it's a good way of improving your English. Learning to read.
Yeah. He was able to stay by himself. He was shunned by people back then, so he probably wouldn't have been hanging around. In normal society. Normal society probably wouldn't have wanted him, unfortunately. And his tribe wasn't wanting him too much after he accepted Christ. So there wasn't. Yeah, but Rick, we need to. But yes, but we need to flip Rick some shit for reasons. I'm not saying that's for sure, but that missionary read to him and he memorized it. Well, we all memorize certain parts too. We're taught to, especially nowadays. I'm not sure whether it would have been the same back then, whether they would have been taught to memorize the Bible like 200 years ago, like we are taught to memorize passages today. His tribe hunts the shield to this day. No. You might make him cooler, Timothy, but you would not. You would take away the character that he is and that I want him to be. And that's why I wouldn't sell him to anybody, because I don't want that done. I want him to stay the character that I've made him. Maybe he learned English from an old white man that went blind and lived near his people. Yeah, there's lots of possibilities. Obviously, he probably would have learned a little English. I'm not saying he didn't learn any English back then. He obviously did because he can speak it a little, but he did not learn it a lot. He did not use it on a regular enough basis to get good at it. Well, I know from my experience with French and Spanish that if you don't use it, you lose it. So yeah, he's having dealings probably somewhat regular basis with white or English speaking people, but at the same time, it's probably not frequent enough to really get good at English. Which is, yeah, well, I will eventually when I need to put it in the script.
Well, Rick, you should decide that before you have to put it into a script. So you can make other decisions based on the fact that that is the lore.
Well, we probably will beforehand. Obviously, not going to make a decision on the spur of the moment. Sometimes that's a good idea, but usually it's not a good idea to make decisions like that on the spur of the moment.
I make a lot of decisions on the spur of the moment.
Yeah, but he's not going to be orphaned or raised by a white family. That I know that's not true, Timothy. I know certain things about him from back then. I don't know everything. And again, I'm trying not to share everything too that I do have because some of it would be nice to come out in script and people be surprised when they read it or whatever, or intrigued.
Yeah, see, I have to go with Mrs. Dillard here. Your universe is over 30 years old. A lot of this stuff you should have figured out already.
Yes, I've been doing it for 30 years, but unfortunately, or sort of doing it for 30 years, but unfortunately, I haven't been working consistently on it for 30 years. Some of it I've had prepared for 30 years. I started it 30 years ago, but due to being the only one working on it, or sometimes people working on it and they bail on you, they flake out on you, things didn't get worked on as often as I would have liked. Nope. Bullet.
Well, if Bullet bought your universe, he wouldn't actually do anything with it. He would just let it sit. He'd be buying it for that reason.
Uh, You shouldn't share your stuff nor have backgrounds on your characters. You might accidentally characters something's good and get people interested. And that's not glorifying the Lord. I have no idea what you're trying to say there, John. Yeah, well, I can throw that idea away because I know that's not true, Timothy. I know enough about the background of the Canadian Shield or man like Cougar that that's not true. He was raised by his tribe. They gave him the name.
Oh, see, so Bullet would shelf it, except with the sole exception of being able to make a Lady Lightning versus the Snowdrift Assassin.
Well, you might not be asking, but it seems like a lot of people here want me to make split-second decisions on...
Well, Rick, you know what you do? You just learn it's, the phrase, I'd tell you, but I'm afraid that would ruin certain aspects of the story that I don't want spoiled.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be true. You could just say that. Because they don't know if it's true or not. Every writer learns this at some point.
Your character has to be so bland so that the Lord gets the glory. That's why the shield is the way he is. Rick has a method to this. You guys are just ignorant. Says John. Time moves differently for Rick. The last 30 years have only been like 5 to him. No, unfortunately it hasn't. I would have liked to have been further, but I'll admit, I sat on my ass a lot of it. And didn't do as much as I would like. For probably a few reasons. One, money. Two, I'm a bit of a procrastinator. Three, it gets... When people start flaking on you, it gets... what's the word? The words...
Demoralizing?
Yeah. So it's like, why am I even trying?
Oh, you know, John, that's not a bad idea. And a lot of those craftsmen are so good with fabric, like, a lot of the people who do furry costumes also do just normal cosplay commissions for people. You probably could make it pretty easy and cheap compared to, like, the outfits he makes for furries. Because he says he thinks he's going to have the furry costume maker next door make him a buckler mask and cowl.
Yeah, I was seeing that. That sounds like a great idea. Rick focused on quantity. He needed to have as many characters as Marvel, otherwise, what's the point? No, that's not quite, Joshua. and believes in the real. Okay, there's more to that statement. What do you say before that? Oh, that was time moves differently for Rick the last period. The last 30 years have been like 5 to him, and he believes in the reality, not this reality, but the realist one.
The real. You know, with like machine elves and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had people that said they were, like I wrote a movie script. I had people that said they were going to help me with that. They flaked out. So unfortunately, for the Christian community that I've had more positivity. Everybody has said it's a great idea, but nobody's been willing to help me or do anything. No, except for like the last 2 to 3 years with this community comics gate or this independent indie one. This is the best help I've gotten in years, and part of me is still waiting for the next, waiting for the shoe to drop. I'm saying, okay, when's this, when's, things gonna go, when's the floor gonna get taken out from under me? Rick, next year in 1993, an album will come out.
Yeah, Joshua knows what I'm talking about. That's the other name for machine elves. Clockwork elves, goblins and ghouls, bloodthirsty vampire demons. They're after your kids. The real.
Unfortunately, I think, how's this, sometimes I think, how's this going to blow up my face? How things going to go wrong, And I'm trying not to think that, trying not to live that, trying to live like it's not going to. Things are going good, and I must admit that, I've got a good artist on, and I got a good price for the Canadian Shield #2 and Snowdrift #1.
Yeah, well, the thing, Rick, things will eventually always go wrong. It's inevitable. So what you do is you make contingencies, so even if something goes wrong, you can still keep going forward with things.
Yeah. Yeah, but Timothy, how long have you been experiencing that? Ever since, ever since I've been involved in it, trying to do it. I've had that be. It's basically, let's say I had a couple guys, well, a lot of them you see listed on my site that have helped out before, done things, and sometimes it was good, like my one buddy, Chris, that you guys have heard me mention. He got me a lot more organized than I was when he came into it. But, eventually he flaked on me for it, And then I had another friend that was helping me write scripts, but, again, flaked. And then it was like years before somebody else said they'd be helping, and they didn't even end up doing anything. They just simply flaked. They just were all talk. But I don't want to bring anybody down, although I think I am. And I'm sorry about that if I am, too. But I've kept at it, too. So, I haven't given up. And I'm not going to give up. Although I've felt like it I don't know how many times. There is a hope inside me somewhere that it's going to succeed, and I'm going to keep going till it does, or till I die.
You gotta sing that song, I've Got a Dream, from Tangled.
Timothy says, no, it's all good, Rick. Bullet says, I appreciate the apology, Rick. In a sense, I think this is my calling. This is what God, I've questioned many times whether this is what God wants me to do, but it seems it's always in the forefront of me, or however you want to put it, put it properly. This is what I think God wants me doing. Well, I can't think of a better word for what they did or how they left or whatever. John?
Well, it depends. So did they actually flag off? Did they ghost you, or did they tell you they didn't want to do it anymore?
Okay. The latest one, whatever, I'm not sure. The one like quite some years ago. Still now. With the movie and all that. He kept saying it, but yeah, I want to help you do this, but anytime I tried to get together with him, he just really ghosted me or came up with some excuse afterwards not to, left me hanging or whatever. And by flake, like some of them just came up with sorry-ass excuses. Like the one guy, the second to last guy that was helping out, his excuse was, and you'd have to know the guy too for this to be real thing, Probably wasn't the best thing for me to even bring him in, but he did help a little, so I'm not can't say too much bad about that. But, he's like, oh, I don't believe it's in God's, there's the permissive will and the whatever will. He didn't think, oh, this is God's will for me to be here doing this or something to that effect. But ultimately, I think it was just because I was a bit harsh on deadlines, because I was trying to get it to be something. And,
Yeah, well, you kind of need an initial project first before you start beating down people's necks on deadlines, or you have to have money to pay them because it's a job at that point.
Yeah. But at this point, it was project, writing up a script, and he knew that it was going to be something eventually too. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. It's just hard to be picky about deadlines when you don't even have close to a final product. Like, and people have lives and things to do. And
this guy had no life, or not much of one. I hate to be mean, but it's true. Dillard says, what if they had some, they're calling Rick and it wasn't helping you? Well, the guy I'm talking about now, right now, he's still doing nothing. Unfortunately, he thinks he's God's gift to the world, yet he's not even... He's not doing anything, really, with his life. Dillard said, in order for somebody to flake, there most had to have had a conversation about collaboration. Normally when a flake situation happens and you realize the person is not willing to collaborate. Yeah, well... Sort of.
Yeah, well, so I get what he means, right? And he follows it up. He's like, I would never collaborate with Rick because Rick isn't interested in collaborating. He just wants help on his stuff. Right? Because an actual collaboration means that the other person has input on things.
Well, if somebody's writing a script, they do have say in stuff, but, if I'm the editor, I have final say. If I don't like the idea or something that's being done, wouldn't I have the right to say so as it being my universe? But, I don't know. So maybe I'm using the wrong word. I don't know what the right word would be. If anybody has the right word, feel free to tell me what they think the right word is. I'm just using the word that I think fits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just reading the chat. Apparently, Rebellious Pastry has a premiere.
Yeah, I'm somehow thinking that's going to be her April Fool's Day one that she's been talking about.
Oh yeah, she's been hyping that up.
She says she's chained up. I guess in the...
Like from the ceiling?
Or to the wall.
The railroad tracks?
Because April 1st is April Fool's Day. April is real, says Bullet.
I don't believe you. I think April might be a lie.
April is real. I have a cousin named April. I've met
How
her.
can I trust you though?
I
I've
don't,
never met her.
I don't know. Also, she's a character on the Ninja Turtles. Not my cousin, but, another April.
Yeah, but the Ninja Turtles aren't real, so.
True. And by ruin, I don't mean make a worse. An editor does not mean you get to take the story and ruin it with your ideas because you want it to go a different way. And by ruin,
Well, that's how Marvel thinks editors work in the modern day.
And by ruin, I mean make a worse story. I mean change the story that I wrote. That is my portion of the calibration. And if I want to write a story, then write a story that don't involve me. Well, been doing that, so and don't hide behind the title of editor. Well, the stories that I've got somebody to write, Chris, I didn't really change his story. I tried to change a couple facts, like, he originally had railroad tracks that the shield was following. There's no railroad tracks in that part of the country. So, I'm going to change the story. I just had to find a different way to get him to go south, In the end, he had, a guy stealing the tractor. Well, I didn't feel that was legit, because who's going to steal a tractor up in the middle of nowhere? So I had to come up with something else.
I might.
Steal a tractor up in the middle of nowhere when there's
yeah. What else am I going to be doing in the middle of nowhere?
When there's nowhere to run and you're going to get caught and go to jail for sure.
I'm going to be riding a tractor.
Yeah, tractors don't go that fast.
No, but you can easily just turn them around and steam over somebody. Especially depending on the type of tractor.
Yeah.
What kind of tractor are we stealing? Are we talking like a small little tractor? Are we talking about like one of those big John Deere, I'm going to get a whole field at once tractor?
Oh, no, a smaller one.
Oh, well, no, I'm not going to steal that. If it was a big one, I'd take it.
I'm speaking as if I were a writer, Ray, and not talking to you like a real person in real life. Jesus. Well, there's some people, that might steal tractors, loaded on, steal a bunch of tractors, load them on rigs, and take them away where we'll never see them again. But
Well, if they're drunk, maybe they'd steal a tractor too.
yeah.
How many times, like, local, like, county sheriffs have had to pull over people driving drunk on the side of the road at a tractor going, like, 2 miles per hour? It happens more often than you think.
Yeah. But, I didn't feel that was good, so, I had to come up with something else part of the story, and that was somebody trying to commit suicide. And I did find out afterwards that that was a real thing up there, that in those parts. You know, thing that people trying to commit suicide. Younger people.
Well, people trying to commit suicide everywhere.
Yeah, but it was a real. It's a real. I shouldn't say. I'm not sure whether the right word is epidemic or not, but it does happen. A lot more than, say around here. Because, I guess they feel more trapped up there, harder to get away or whatever. I don't know for sure. Rick, you should hold a writing competition. I sort of have. I did it when I did the Canadian Shield. I know it's not quite as good of whatever Dillard's probably thinking, but I did say, make up your own version of the Canadian Shield. We did vote on it, and you had to make up a history and all that.
A writing in competition. For all the most incompetent people.
Timothy says writing in competition, and Dylan says, I'll take rebellious. Rick, you can have Timothy, and Timothy's what? Damn it, Timothy says. I think he got burned. Bullet, Dillard says, I also want Rick and Eagle. Rick, you can have Bullet. Well, I think...
see, here's the problem. I think the team that has Bullet would actually probably have a pretty good chance of winning. But if it's Rick team, Rick, you might actually just hold Bullet back too much for him to be able to win the competition. Because you'll just be wanting to change everything.
I wouldn't be wanting to change everything. If we're coming up with a original idea that has nothing necessarily to do with my universe, my stuff, I'd be a lot more flexible. Actually, probably it would end up being probably more Bullet than me, because I'd probably be, yeah, whatever. Or if I suggest an idea and it gets, torn away or whatever, thrown out, I wouldn't complain too much. The reason I complain a lot with, Canadian Shield or Cross Comics is because it's my universe. I may not know everything about it, but I know what I usually think sounds right or doesn't right for it.
Well, I mean, Dillard, that's not hard for Rebellious to write a better story than Asylum. There's, no story there. That's a pretty low bar. And the winner of this competition is going to be the audience, because this competition will get halfway into its run and everybody will back out.
Yeah, almost every other competition. This is not a team. We're dividing up the assets from me and Rick's divorce. Bullet says, I'm flexible, just like a sensual oaken maiden, like the city. The end tables never sleep.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's what we need. Bullet will win the competition with his end table erotica.
The bitter divorce of Dillard and Rick. If I never see Timothy again, it'll be too sad.
Models. I think he's talking about what he'd get in their divorce. He's like, John, I hope you get the comic universe.
The Shield picked up the tomahawk his father had given him and scalped the end table and added it to the fire. I don't want the universe. I'll take Pig Snorker out of spite. No, my cousin would kill me if I gave that character away. Oh, maybe she would, maybe she wouldn't. She didn't like when they ended up making him a villain.
Yeah, maybe your cousin would like John more if you made her into like a Pig Snorker into a hero.
Yeah. What part of the end table is the scalp says? No, CS found out who really created him and scalped him. Rick, you. The fire that burned in his flame swept up in the moment he embraced the end table.
Wouldn't the scalp the end table just be the top surface? I mean, you just like shave it all off like an inch or something. Maybe even less than that. Maybe like an eighth of the inch of just like the top surface of the end table.
Oh, maybe it's the part that attaches to the bottom, so it's open and you just can see into the drawer.
Maybe. Maybe. Ooh, that would be a nightmare, actually. The model says, even though John gets the comics universe, Rick still has creative oversight. And so basically he wouldn't be able to do anything without your sign-off on it. Man. I couldn't think of a situation that would be worse for like from the perspective of the person who's trying to do things with it, but they still have to keep getting the sign off from the other guy.
Sort of like another person we know.
Yeah.
TM. Dillard says, "Was your female cousin the visual inspiration for Pink Snorker?" No. Rick needs to draw his Pig Snorker fan art next.
Yeah, you're in that competition, right?
Yeah, I guess technically. But I'll probably end up using it officially, so will it be fan art at that point?
Well, then you'd get disqualified.
Yeah, but what if it's afterwards? Like a year after.
You have to talk to Kat about that. They might retroactively take your title away.
If I win.
No, they'll take your third place title away too.
Oh, yeah, because...
Third out of third. They'll just disqualify you. There was no third place winner.
Oh, well. I don't think I'd be losing any sleep. for me, it's still. I know what you said, but to me, it still seems like an oxymoron. Doing fan art for my own universe.
I've done fan art of my own stuff. You guys will never see it.
Now my question is, on Fan Art Fridays, if I get Eric Vinatowski to draw me his character, is it technically fan art?
Yeah.
Or is it a commission? Well, commission.
No. I mean, to be a commission, I mean, you could technically do a free commission. That's kind of called a request. But a commission is a contract. It doesn't have to be signed or anything, but it's somebody contracting somebody else to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, to some degree, asking somebody to do fan art of your own stuff could still be a commission, depending on how you look at it, but I think we're using the term a little too loosely then.
They were happy until the my chat has gone to the dogs or something.
Yeah, well, you know, Bullet started the end table erotica, and then everything else started coming out. That's just how it goes around here sometimes.
Yeah, my chat is crazy. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Dillard has a hot take. He says you're only capable of doing fan art because your fan art is not real art. Or because fan art is not real art. So he's just saying that you're not doing real art.
Well, everybody has thing of their own.
Everybody's a critic. Be like Rodney Dangerfield and Little Nicky. Even in hell I get no respect.
That's the last place I'd expect to get any respect in hell.
Well, he was actually supposed to be like the original Satan. Right? Like, his son took over and then Nicky's like his grandson. But just as a Rodney Dangerfield joke, it's like, even in hell I get no respect.
Yeah, well, even with that, it's still...
Yeah.
Who would expect you to get respect, even in hell, you know, whether you were the previous devil or not.
Maybe if you were the current one. But then his grandson just kind of like tossed him aside.
Then I think they wouldn't give you real respect. They just simply do things out of fear. And I don't think somebody doing, well, depends on the type of fear. Because
yeah, I mean, you would consider this fear of God a form of respect?
Yeah. I guess it depends on the type of fear. Dillet says, fan art is done for enjoyment of a character that is not yours because you are a fan of it. Fan art is done for enjoyment of a character that is not yours because you are a fan of it. Rick, you cannot do fan art of any character you created by definition. Because fan art is done for enjoyment of a character that is not yours, because you are a fan of it.
Now, when you say turgid shield, do you mean like a swollen shield, or do you mean like a bombastic shield? Because that word could go either way.
Well, Dillard, I could possibly agree with you. It's
Yeah, no, that's the way you were saying it. I'm the one that's got a different opinion of fan art. But I also look at it from probably more of the Japanese perspective because of Dojinshi. And there have been doujins made by the actual creators of the property before. But that's because they aren't the sole owner. They have to co-own it with the magazine they publish it under. And they've made private stuff that isn't official work.
or considered
Both. Ooh, both bombastic and swollen. Yeah, I could deal with that. That sounds fun. Yeah. The turgid targe. Let's go.
Who would draw the Buckler X, the Canadian Shield fan art? He's saying you can't do fan art of your own character. Yeah, well, I have actually sort of agreed with him.
Targa.
And I'm the one that had an issue with this from the start when it was suggested. Can I actually do this? Fan art of my own character. It's not me that you gotta convince, it's Metal.
Well, actually, technically it's not me, because I'm not a judge or running this competition. Kat was the one that challenged you to it.
Yeah.
So apparently she's under the opinion that you can make fan art of your own thing.
Yeah.
So you actually have to sway her opinion that it is impossible for you to make fan art of your own thing. My opinion really doesn't matter here.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't ultimately matter if it's in the competition, but, you know.
Well, that's the only thing that matters to the subject.
If he wants you, he can just try and sway you to sway you, too,
Oh, he's not going to be able to sway me. That's a fruitless effort.
Or try to. Although I've heard your argument, I'm not entirely convinced by it. To me, Dillard's argument is more compelling.
Some shield and buckler, yaoi. Yeah, but like, let's see. Wouldn't the shield have to be the one pitching there because of size? I mean, I guess not. I couldn't see buckler taking it.
I can see either taking or giving. I don't even want to picture it to begin with.
Yes, but you can't stop the online shipping fangirls. That's impossible.
Yeah, I know.
The only way you can stop them is by not getting them in the first place.
Yeah, but some idiot's gonna do it no matter what you want, and no matter how much you say otherwise. Because
A shield is a power bottom. I don't know.
Model said, "Cat unperson to me, so I'm more anti-Canadian than I used to be."
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm oohing at the engorged shield, but yes, pastry, if you were wondering, the gay stuff is also ooh. I agree with John.
I don't know. I do kind of like the Turgid Targa. That's a good name for a character. You know what a Targa is, right?
Probably, but
It's a big round shield. It's like the same shape of a buckler, but it's actually like a full size shield, like a truck tire size. Cap's shield would technically be a Targa.
Oh, then I didn't know. Actually, I probably didn't even know that all the different shields had names till, I was told about Buckler.
Now that I actually knew was canonically true about the buckler. Because the buckler is a generous lover, and by generous he means very violent.
Actually, I guess the question is, tomorrow, how did Cat unperson him? If he wants to share.
Right? Why are you reaching into people's business?
Get it on some other subject.
It's like, I don't want to be talking about this weird sex stuff. So Rick, you want to play an Oregon Trail tabletop RPG?
I've seen that mentioned in your chat. What is Oregon Trail?
You don't know, how do you not know what Oregon Trail is?
I might. I doubt it, but I might.
It's an old computer game where you're trying to make it to Oregon.
I guess it wasn't.
And everybody dies from dysentery along the way. How have you never played Oregon Trail? Yeah. So the premise is.
Well, you gotta. First, you gotta. I'm just gonna say you gotta remember. First of all, I wasn't into RPGs.
Well, Oregon Trail's not an RPG.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could kind of consider it a role-playing game, but it's not an RPG. It's a simulation game. It's one of the earliest, right? It was an old computer game. You could play it on, like, really old Apple computers. There's a Windows version 2. It's like a DOS, right? Very old.
Well, there's possibly another reason if it wasn't too much on Windows or whatever.
No, there's plenty of versions of the game. You can play it on everything. You can play it on your phone now. And basically, it is the pioneers going off to settle in Oregon, right? And what you're doing is you are a caravan of people. Usually you're about a family, not like the kids or anything. It's like 4 people heading off in a wagon. Some version of the game, they assume that you're in like a wagon trail, like many people. And this one is just 4 that you're managing. And you have to pick up your supplies. You have so much money to start with. and you have to make it all the way like across the country. It's like 2/3 of the whole distance of the country you basically have to travel.
Okay.
And you stop at other forts and towns along the way. You have to refill on supplies. You need to make money, so sometimes that involves hunting and selling the meat that you get. All that stuff. People get bit by snakes. People get dysentery. And the whole goal is to actually try to make it to Oregon.
So
Most people die their first few times playing the game.
So maybe somewhat similar to what's the name of it that we've been playing? Red Dead, except
Some similarities to the online version,
yeah.
but it's like really old. It moves at its pace, right? Like, so there's barely any mechanical things going on from the player's perspective, right? You can go out and hunt, and it'll drop you in this little zone where there's like the background's black, your sprites are white, and you're shooting at these barely animal-looking things on the screen. Your bullet flies in like one direction. But for the most part, you're just kind of seeing this wagon moving across a screen with a background, and you'll see like a town in the background pop up, and every so many miles it'll stop and you make a decision, then you tell it to go on, then it'll move so many miles and it'll stop and you make a decision, and that's like the whole game. And you'll have like menus pop up when you get to towns.
Okay, I got a question for Bullet. Have you heard of this game? He's a real game enthusiast. Or did you hear about it in your younger years? Because I was thinking, and I probably...
I'm fairly certain most other people have heard of this game, in general. It's so popular they even made a card game after it not too long ago. In fact, the Learning Company is the one that ended up keeping the rights to this later on, and there are many sequels to the Oregon Trail, some done in almost like CG animation.
Okay. And another...
Actually, there's a whole trail franchise, like the Amazon Trail and stuff, too.
Yes, Rick, it's a classic. Okay, I was just thinking for maybe some reason it didn't come here to Canada, but, But with Bullet hearing of it and saying it's a classic, obviously it came to Canada. I just wanted to somewhat confirm my suspicions.
Yeah, people in India have played the Oregon Trail. They're not even sure what an Oregon is.
Everybody says to me, I have played Oregon Trail tabletop.
Yeah. There's a board game for it too, which could be easy to use, or we can just, I'm sure there's like tabletop RPG versions where you guys can make your own decisions and try to work together. And it would be mostly theater of the mind because you'd be trying to make it work like the game was, right? So there's actually very few visuals. It's not like you guys are running around doing things on a grid. We would just have a map, and we'd be moving like your kind of caravan, your wagon train across the map, stopping at places, and you guys could like stop at stores, buy things you need, sell things. Sometimes people end up selling their spare wagon parts. Not a smart thing to do.
Question is, would we all be creating individual characters for it, or?
Oh yeah, you'd each have your own character. There's not a lot of creation would need to go into it, though, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure background will have something to do with it. Like if you happen to be a doctor, you're better at giving first aid or whatever. But it would be very minimal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially you're dealing with the Old West, I take it. So, well, not the Old West, but that time, if you will. The 1800s or whatever it's set in, right?
Well, the Old West lasted all the way from the western expansion of the Louisiana Purchase to about 1930.
Or even longer, because,
depending, sometimes people extend it to 1940, but it's about like 1930 is where the Wild West is still considered a thing.
I'm maybe not thinking of the Wild West, because I remember my mom, she watched all the cowboy stuff Roy Rogers, and that was supposed. I think some of that was supposed to be going on in that day and age, although not literally or whatever.
No, that's an exaggeration at that point.
I don't know, and that's just a little bit I get from watching it. Some of the episodes.
Prohibition is really what started to kill what we know as the Wild West. Plus, a lot of settlements were just getting bigger to where they were actual cities. It's like the Wild West was never really all that wild to begin with. But what you consider it was just going away from natural time of things settling and expanding.
No. But we'll say probably this Oregon Trail is probably
trains killed the West.
This Oregon Trail thing would take place around maybe the 1850s or something like that. Or
no, it'd have to maybe because it would definitely be before what's it called 1830s maybe I would say. I think that's when the trail was established.
Okay, well I did want to go. I was gonna go further back, but
well, because it's before the Transcontinental Railroad, which was about the 1870s. So 50s isn't that bad, but you had to think. It was also established like prior to the Civil War.
Well, not knowing super lot about the Oregon, the real thing for Oregon and the trail and all that, wasn't a bad guess, or too bad of a guess.
Yeah, people are they're just getting land, and money to settle there because they were just trying to get people to settle off on that side of the country, manifest destiny and all that. So there's here's some acres.
Yeah, for
some $1,000.
People would just say, there'd be ads in newspapers if we can get here or free land, give away on this certain date or whatever. There was this other side scrolling game where you can play a fish and you have to decide to swim up or down. It was completely random. You either get eaten by an otter or osprey. I can't remember the name.
He's not talking about Odell Lake, is he?
But yeah, sure, I'd give that a go. I could maybe create a bit of a Western character. 1850 or 1830s type character.
Because there were otters in Odell Lake. That might be what he's talking about. That's an old Apple II game. I think there's a Windows version as well. Maybe. I think it's actually abandonware. I don't think anybody owns the rights to that. Because that was it was owned by the Minnesota Educational Company. And a lot of educational corporations, they just abandoned stuff. They didn't renew trademarks or patents or anything like that. A game where you're an ant. Ant Sim game? There was an Ant Sim game for, I think the SNES? I think Pro Jared did a video on that.
And computer. Sim Ant.
Yeah.
I remember it.
Sim Ant, that was it, yeah. And you were the red ants versus the blue ants, and it starts off easy enough, but if you don't actually keep up on it, or maybe you were the blue ants versus red ants, but whatever side you weren't could easily just take over a yard if you weren't super aggressive. That game was not fair.
Timothy, you got ants in your pants? Bug Odyssey, says Joshua. But you're thinking of that for in between things, or when do you think? What are you thinking of that for?
Oh, I don't know. It was just something we were talking about on the vomitorium.
Okay. Timothy said he always got Ewer and Yellow Ant says Timothy, and he said he always got eaten by a spider.
I don't know if I know that. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Because like Simant, you're playing as a whole colony, trying to spread across the yard. That might be a different game.
Yeah, I've heard of Simant. I don't think I ever actually played it. I think I wanted to, but I never did. I could probably get it somewhere for free nowadays.
Yeah. John, I'm gonna type in the chat for you. And go look at this. This might be the game you're talking about. Yeah, what was weird is I was used to like cruddy games for most of my elementary school time, just because I happened to be in elementary school at kind of like the verge of when computer gaming shifted, like right there, and I remember in fourth grade as well. Not only did the computer games get better, but they had PlayStations. Like, how did we get PlayStations at this crummy, broke elementary school?
Somebody donated
It was
them?
bad. Yeah, it was bad educational games, but there was like a classroom that had like 20 PlayStations in it.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Dylan says, yep,
Hey,
that's
that
the
was
one.
the game. Yeah, I thought that was it. Your school had a secret menu. Where did you go to school? Like freaking In-N-Out Burger? Like, yes, for this class period we will be teaching you about the Flying Dutchman. And no, not the mythological ship.
Only a few of us knew about it and know it was a computer class. So it had an emulator, basically. An emulator of NES games.
School secret menu is detention masonry class. Yo, masonry is legit though. I hated all of the typing teaching programs that they had in school. Every last one of them.
Model says, in the days before OnlyFans, all we had was Mavis Beacon.
It's like, you know, actually, those typing teaching classes, at least the ones in the 5th and 6th grade, because I was doing fine in elementary school, but the ones in the 5th and 6th grade actually, like, killed typing for me. I got worse after it. Before that, I was doing fine, kind of just like hovering over, because I'd gotten used to like one-handed typing, because I was playing a lot of Halo online, and you got to type to the other people, and they just like it broke me at some level when they having to go back to the home row keys and everything like that.
That's funny. That's funny in some ways. I took a typing class in high school. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't good at it, but the teacher didn't watch me that much. I did more the hunt and peck type thing. Yet I passed the class for. I'm not sure with an A, but at least with a B.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Well, because, you know, I had a computer as a young kid, right? Like, growing up, there was a computer in my house. If you give a kid a computer, they're going to learn their way of typing, and they're going to get good at it.
Yeah. Now, nowadays, I don't have my fingers right on the keys, but I do hover above. Hover my fingers above. Maybe not quite the home row key thing, but I do it a lot like that, but a little bit hunt and peck, a cross between hunt and peck, and it's just weird, I guess. But yeah, I had a computer too. Way before I took that typing class, obviously. Dillard says, Tim, don't you dare talk to Model like that. He sees the world on a higher level than you.
This is true. Also, to be fair, Model has like professional experience in most like forms of creative categories that actually matter. So he also knows more about most of this stuff than anybody else does.
Dillard says, Rich Boy and his house computer. Was your school bus a stretch Lamborghini?
Oh no,
No.
I don't even had a computer because my aunt gave it to me. Well, gave it to my family. I was just the only one who used it. Because she got a new computer. That's how I got most of my stuff growing up, was like hand-me-downs, because all my cousins' families were doing well. And like, here we go, we don't need this anymore.
Finally, some respect around here, says Model. For me and my mom weren't rich. Well, I won't say my dad was rich, but he was more well off than me and my mom. So, my first computer was actually an Atom attachment for the ColecoVision.
Mm.
And then I can't remember whether I got a Tandy Coco 3 next, or whether we actually got something with Windows. Well, I don't think it was Windows 3.1. It was back. No, it wouldn't have been 3.1. It was back before Windows was a thing. I think the Tandy Coco 3 was next, because. Well, I can't remember. Did I miss anything? Yes, you missed everything. Rebellious. You always miss everything when you go away. And the Tandy Coco 3, for those that don't know, was from Radio Shack. One of Radio
Is
Shack's.
Radio Shack even still a thing?
Not here in Canada. I think it's still a thing.
I thought it closed down. Let me double check. I remember my grandma had a credit card there for the longest time because that's where she would get like electronics. But then like she had to close it out. I don't know. I don't think Radio Shack's a thing anymore. Oh, okay. They were going to close out, but they were acquired by somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, well, they closed down here in Canada, and what took them over? Stupid, idiotic, expensive place. I
It was
can't
in 2020 when they got bought out. Is there a website where you could just play Oregon Trail? Probably. Let me go look for one. There's usually a site where you can just play this stuff. I think, actually, I was on a stream with Lorenzo while he was playing it, so it should be easy to find.
The Source by Circuit City. There, I just remembered. That's who bought out Radio Shack Canada.
Yeah, it loads DOSBox right in here.
Well, if I just name my characters after Metal or Marsupial, then it'll be like they're there in spirit. If there's a website that I
Yeah, it works fine. What kind of people made this trip to Oregon? A banker from Boston, a carpenter from Ohio, a farmer from Illinois, or find out the differences between these choices. The banker's great because you start with more money, but the farmer starts with more food. I forget what the carpenter's advantage. Maybe it was like more wagon parts or something. It's been a while since I've played. No, you could play this game right in your normal browser. Like, they run the DOSBox in HTML5. You should be able to play this in any browser.
can I he wants to know whether you can download it or without downloading it. Without downloading some kooky
Without downloading some kooky browser. No, you just play it right in your like web browser.
Yeah, maybe.
Like in Google Chrome or whatever, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, it doesn't matter. All browsers support HTML5, and that's what the DOSBox is playing through.
Maybe if you can give him the link.
I dropped it in the chat.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah, pack plenty of toilet paper.
They probably just use leaves. Well, maybe the banker didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, this was also done by the Michigan Education, or the Minnesota Education Company. But I know, like, instead of getting abandoned, it was such a popular game that the Learning Company picked it up.
Dillard says all of them. Hey, Pope Raven. Dillard asks, what is pastry's favorite style, art style, and pastry says, "What are you best in?" He's best in them all. Don't want to play Dylan's ego, but it's true, so.
Man, I haven't played this game in so long. And Rick's already dead from dysentery.
You name one of the characters, Rick. Which character did you put me as?
Oh, I didn't. I just said that. I'm not actually playing the game. I closed it out. Like, what? Died of dysentery? We haven't even left Independence yet.
Hello?
Who is this?
Hey, John.
All right, look, I don't want to make it sound. I don't want to make it sound at all like I'm like the best at anything because I'm really not. But the thing is,
You are? You are the winner of all competitions?
no, not even that. It's just that I don't really practice really heavy in any one style. So I'm pretty much
You kind of bounce around.
I'm decent in pretty much every style. And I enjoy drawing in all of them. So pick a style already. What the hell's going on? The show's almost over. I gotta boot up this Oregon Trail so I can play on my stream.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to go around bragging that you're the best at the thing, because then Model will just come and show you up. With his flawless anatomy.
Yeah, whatever, Model, in your fucking flawless anatomy. Maybe I should. Is it possible to go and without being a student, right? Is it possible to go and view autopsies or surgeries?
Yeah, maybe. I think they have screenings for stuff.
And snuff films are illegal, right?
Yes, snuff films are illegal.
It's a shame.
But yeah, usually the screenings are only for either students or family.
Well, is there a way to audit some sort of class like that?
I don't know. I'm not super into medical school, so I don't really know the details of that. It's not something I research.
Rebellion says, you pick Dylan, just don't draw in Rick style.
Damn, that's hard.
She just doesn't want her character looking drunk again.
Yeah, I hope whatever email that was sent to me has good references, because one thing I can't abide by is bad references.
Well, whatever you've probably seen on her channel is probably the type
Rick,
of...
I didn't actually go to her channel.
Model's gonna show you up in his wheelhouse drawn by 40 horses.
What?
Yeah, that's what he says. How can you compete with that?
Shit. I can't. I have to pause my ad blocker on this site. Unless it's just not letting me play the game.
I don't know. It asked me to disable it, and then I just hit OK, and then clicked on it again, and it let me play it without actually disabling it.
Maybe if I reload the page, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Pope Raven wants you to draw it in that beautiful vestry style.
Ah, my hairy vestry style.
You want to promote anything, John?
Yeah, head on over to my channel, Dillard Draws. I'm going to be playing the Oregon Trail, and I'm going to see if I can kill Rick as many times as possible.
Bullet says he specializes in totally legal snuff films. Anything you would like to promote, Metal?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody out there for coming by, watching. Thanks to John and Metal for coming on the panel. It's been great having them here, and it's been great having everybody out there here. Go on, if you haven't signed up for Odyssey, if you're on Odyssey, go sign up for my channel over on Odyssey. It's got some older cross-comic stuff over there, so it's easier to find. So
why would we want to watch some older stuff when there's new stuff to watch?
I don't know. In case you are interested, for those that do want to see older cross-comic streams. Although the verse of the day gets automatically uploaded there, but you got here for that too. So we'll catch you all later. Bye for now. God bless.